One of the most frequently asked questions that I get are from people who are working alone, and I call them lone wolves, who want now to grow from there, and they have no idea on where to start. So in this video, I'm going to be exactly addressing that question. How do I go from being a lone wolf to a bigger firm? My name is Talbot, and I've been in practice now for 30 years. I started from the basement all alone and grew the practice to its current size of about 70 employees at 7 different locations. So this channel will talk about things that I've learned over the years to have a better practice, a better business, and a better life. If you're new, consider subscribing. So one of the questions that I often get asked is that people are working alone and says, okay, so I'm at a point now where I'm thinking maybe I should hire, but I'm not too sure if now is the right time and when do I go about doing that. And I'm also recognizing the fact that if I really want to earn a decent living, that I may want to consider hiring people. And they're asking themselves, well, when's a good time to hire? And so almost invariably my answer will be, well, when you get to a point where you've got too much work and you've got too much on your plate to get it all done properly and you've got more work coming in, that would be a good time for you to hire. And the questions that come up are usually the following. Well, if I hire someone, won't my profits go down? The answer, yes, it will. And then the next question, well, will it not then increase my stress? Yes, it will. Well, aren't employees sometimes just a pain in the butt? Yes, sometimes they are. So you might be asking, well, why would I want to do that? One of the secrets to being more profitable and having a better life is to leverage the people you have working for you, which you cannot do if you have no employees. So it's important you learn how to leverage. Now, there's a few components and tremendous benefits to having employees and leveraging them. First, I'm going to talk about the benefits of having an employee, because part of the secret of evolving from being a lone wolf to having employees is you have to be totally convinced and fearless about hiring that first employee. And the only way that can happen is for you to see the full benefits of having that employee and going over the problems we just discussed, which is the drop in profits and all of that. So the first great benefit of having an employee is the leveraging you can do off of what you're paying them. So we just talked about how your profits are going to go down. Well, of course, if you're hiring someone and paying them $30,000, you're probably thinking, well, my profits are currently about $55,000. If I hire an employee, my profits will drop from 55 to 25 because I'm paying this person $30,000. What most practitioners tend to forget is the increase in capacity that you're doing by hiring that first employee. So if you pay someone, say $30,000, you should, in very short order, increase the capacity to earn by $90,000. So increase your revenues by $90,000 over and above what you're currently bringing in. So you're increasing the capacity by 90, paying 30 for it. So basically, you're adding about $60,000 to your bottom line with very little increase to your expenses. So the benefits right there are quasi-instantaneous and tremendous. The second advantage of having an employee and leveraging their time is to make your time more valuable. So for most lone wolves, you get a client that comes in and the work will consist of very junior kind of work, intermediate work, and high-end work. But if you're the only person working in your own practice, you will be stuck with doing all of that work, including the bank reconciliation and so on and so forth. Trust me, very difficult to get $200 per hour reconciling a bank. So as soon as you're doing a bank reconciliation, you're kind of stuck with only charging what it's worth to reconcile a bank, whatever that rate is. So the beauty of having an employee, you can take all of that lower paying work, put it on their desk, have them do that work, so you can spend all of your time doing only the high-end work. And the more employees you have, the more you can squeeze and only do more high-end work. So needless to say, if you're a lone wolf, some of your time will be charged out at $60 per hour, some of it at $100, some of it at $150, and very little at $200. You get an employee, well, most of that $60 to $100 work will be pushed down to somebody else, and now the bulk of your work will be charged out at 100 to 150 or 200. But now if you have 5 employees, well, almost all of your time will get charged out at $200 per hour. So tremendous benefit in having someone that you can delegate the lower work to somebody else. The other benefit of having an employee is to have time off, because let's face it, the day you go on vacation, if you're a lone wolf, there's no more revenues coming in because there's no more work getting done. So if you hadn't have an employee who's half dependable, odds are good that they will keep the ball rolling, they will take care of small emergencies and keep the flow going so that if a client needs something fairly simple, they can still get it done while you're on vacation and really enjoying your time off. One of the things that I like once you get past that first employee, because the disadvantage of hiring that first employee is the time you're going to spend in training that person. And you're going to think, oh my God, if I hire a second person, then I got to go through all of this training process again. Well, that's not entirely true. Once you've hired the first person, they've been trained well, odds are good that that first person can train the second person. So you're not spending your own time training that second person. It's all beneficial, and you can keep your charge out rate at a higher rate and let somebody else do the training. And for me, and this will be more true for certain people than others, for me, one of the huge, probably the biggest benefit of hiring people is simply not working alone. I'm not a hermit. I need the client contact. I need the personal contact. And therefore, part of having more contact with people is to have a team. And I've always really relished working with team members. I always found that to be a joy. Not always, sometimes they were not so much fun. But by and large, if you hire people who think like you do and who are like you, it'll be fun. And so you're adding actually to the fun of coming to work every day. And last, I think it also can increase the value of your practice. I think it's easier and you can get a bigger price for a practice that already has employees than if you're a lone wolf. So again, if you're looking at retirement, you're probably going to get a better price for your practice than if you're a lone wolf. So now you might be asking, okay, but I haven't fully explained the question, how do I go from being a lone wolf to hiring that first person? Well, the biggest challenge will be, first of all, to get over the fear. Getting over the fear that this may not work as well as you would hope, that they're going to need some training, they may not work out, and all of that comes with hiring. Accept it. It's one of the nature of the beast. You got to accept that as being a possible detriment. The second thing is to really be careful with who you hire, especially the first few employees, because they will be instrumental to how you feel about the future people that you hire. And I've seen too many people who hired a person or two and said, that's it, I'm out of here, I'm not doing this anymore. Well, because they hired the wrong people. So I suggest that you listen to the videos where I talk about how to hire your people and having the right people on your team, because that will be instrumental about the whole experience of having employees at all. And if your experience of having employees is not good, then you're going to have this sour taste in your mouth and you're now going to want to repeat that experience. So it's important, I think even more so with the first employee, to hire the right people. And I have to admit, if I look at my own experience, that's probably what motivated me to keep going, because the first few people that I hired were phenomenal. People that I got along with, did terrific work, and therefore I found, hey, this is good. So I think it's important you be careful what you hire. So basically, like I said, get over the fear, get over the fact that it's not going to be perfect necessarily, and hire the right person and make sure you know what that means. So I hope that helped answer some of your questions, especially, like I said, for you lone wolves who are wondering, how do I get past this? And of course, there's a whole bunch of other things you need to learn about how to get past from working alone, such as how to bring more work in once you hire this other people, but that's a whole different subject matter. So if you have questions on how to grow your practice, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, either by email or by phone. I'd be happy to discuss that with you.